Welcome back to the last portion of the Missouri Constitution video series. This section is going to focus on the judicial branch, which, just like at the federal level, is responsible for interpreting and applying the laws. So Missouri's judicial branch is made up of three main levels. You have circuit courts, appellate courts, and then the Supreme Court. And most Missouri cases are going to start in the circuit court and then work their way up as needed. The Supreme Court of Missouri is responsible for hearing things like the validity of a state statute. So, is a Missouri state law is it in keeping with the Missouri Constitution? Is it in keeping with the federal Constitution? They also hear, regular cases that work their way up through the court system, and they are also the court that determines whether or not someone should have the death penalty. So, like if an individual is sentenced and they have the death penalty, then the Supreme Court can look at that and say, well, maybe they don't deserve that for X, Y, and Z, or yes, they do for these reasons. Okay, so members of the Missouri court system, fun fact, they have to retire by the time they're 70 years old. Okay, so whenever you turn 70 in Missouri, if you are a member of the court system, you go into retirement. So we look at that and we say that's different from the federal system, because once you're appointed to a federal court, you're there until you die or choose to retire. So Missouri makes that decision for our judges and say, yay, you get to choose to retire when you turn 70. The appellate court, just like at the federal level, is the Court of Appeals. So this is going to hear cases. They have appellate jurisdiction, which means they can hear cases the second time they have been proposed. The circuit courts are going to have original jurisdiction, meaning this is where the cases start. They're going to hear cases the first time they are presented. And Missouri courts can hear civil cases and criminal cases. So the difference between those two is basically, if you are involved in a civil case, it's typically some sort of a dispute or a disagreement between two parties. And if you are in a criminal case involved in that situation, then you have broken the law. You have committed a crime. So in that situation, the case name is typically the city of St. Louis versus Joe Schmo. Okay, so the city or the government entity is bringing a case against you, as opposed to if you just have like a dispute over fencing on a property line with your neighbor. That would be a civil case. Okay, so that will end this specific section. If you guys have any questions, let me know.